And the rumblings out of Tallahassee that the state Republican Party is now concerned about keeping its supermajority in the state legislature. Tonight, Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders getting a pulse on what may be driving that fear and the reality check behind the numbers.
Let's be really clear about what's at stake here in the Florida legislature for Democrats. Are they going to be able to take control of one or both of the chambers? No, that's highly unlikely. But almost everybody thinks there's a real possibility they could claw back some of the power that they lost over the last couple of years. While the nation focuses on the top of the ticket, here in Florida, 2024's biggest battles might be in the Florida legislature. The GOP trying to hold on to supermajorities it gained in the House and Senate during the 2022 red wave. It allows them to override vetoes, approve taxing legislation more easily, and change chamber rules, plus pads votes on controversial bills. Republicans will need to hold on to 80 of their 83 seats in the state House, 27 of their 28 seats in the state Senate. You guys going to hold on to them?
I think the Senate is maintainable. I think the House is always a fight. We won some seats that were pretty tough.
Florida GOP Chair Evan Power noting nothing is guaranteed when we spoke this week, but still showing confidence.
With the performance that we're seeing out there, I think it's an achievable goal, and we continue to be able to govern the way that we campaigned. I think we're going to continue to win races that not necessarily we should win, but we're going to win because of our performance.
House Speaker Paul Renner told us recently the GOP's record is what will keep their margins intact.
We did things like major tax reduction, returning billions of dollars into the hands of working men and women and families. We had the Live Local bill, which is addressing in a powerful way affordable housing. We've done things as best we can despite the Biden administration and the Federal Reserve.
Those policies were bipartisan, though, and Republicans also own that 6-week abortion ban, backed almost unanimously by the party. A plan to repeal it now polling at 69% support.
This is our time.
Florida Democrats Chair Nikki Fried feeling emboldened about their chances this cycle. Their message, GOP leadership has resulted in high property insurance, an affordability crisis, and fewer rights for women. The party also getting an injection of energy from Vice President Kamala Harris's candidacy.
They just needed that spark to ignite, and that's what we saw over the course of the week. So I know that this is our time to show the country that Florida is in play, Florida is worth fighting for, and that we are not going to take this moment for granted.
And one more thing. Florida Democrats, for the first time in recent history, have fielded candidates for every legislative seat and Congress. But ultimately, what comes next is up to voters. They weigh in November 5th. So yes, we do have an election to get through first, but that next regular session is not that far away. It starts in early March and runs until early May, a 60-day legislative bill-making gauntlet, and we will, of course, be ready for it when it arrives.
Always more to come as Forrest joins us live from Tallahassee tonight. You know, Forrest, there's really so much going on during this election season here in Florida. And today we got some new polling on the presidential race with President Trump leading Kamala Harris by 7 points here in Florida. Not surprising, but you've got to wonder, Forrest, is 7 points enough to keep the National Democratic Party out of Florida, to keep them from investing at least some money and trying to make Florida relevant and make a game of it? I mean, 7 points, is that impossible in 3 months to make up?
You know, that's a great question, and I think that I would defer to the experts on that, but I think there is a lot of enthusiasm right now with Harris jumping into this race. I mean, we saw it over the weekend, we saw it over the last few days. There is something happening on the ground, and Democrats are definitely trying to capitalize on it. I talked to Chair Fried just yesterday, and she said that she was in contact with the DNC, with the National Harris Campaign, and they are trying to encourage them to give more money, trying to point to the, 1,400 volunteers that they had working over the weekend, engaging with 18,000 Floridians. They've had more than 12,000 requests to volunteer here in the state of Florida. That's the highest in the nation. So there is some serious energy here that they are hoping to capitalize on.
30 electoral votes up for grabs in the Sunshine State, the third largest in the country, on the road to 270. Meanwhile, Forrest, along with the polling, we also got some insight into where people are with these constitutional amendments, abortion, marijuana, overwhelming support for recreational marijuana and abortion protections, not so much for partisan school board elections. What is it revealing about that?
Well, it shows right there that Republicans, as much as they want to have those R&D designations, right, by their name on those school board elections, because they think they'll benefit from it, they'll have more Republicans elected to school boards. It just doesn't seem like the public is going for it right now. They need that 60% supermajority in order to get that constitutional amendment passed on Amendment 1. That's not happening. The other two amendments, super interesting there. It looks like recreational marijuana has about 63% support right now. That gets them over the threshold. But what's really interesting is Amendment 4, 69% support. That is a huge margin and would be a major win for Amendment 4. Also a sign of concern for Republicans, because as we mentioned in that story, they have to own that 6-week abortion ban. Yeah. And if you got a lot of people turning out to vote in favor of Amendment 4, they're also maybe voting against Republicans. We'll have to see.
Forrest Saunders live in Tallahassee. Forrest, thank you.